we have picked ourselves up. We have fought our way back. And we know in our hearts that for the United States of America, the best is yet to come.
With the help of women, young voters, and Latinos, President Obama won the key battleground states that he needed to win re-election. And one of those states, of course, was Wisconsin.
UW political science professor John Coleman joins us again this morning to help us break down all of the election results. And Professor, Mitt Romney says his political career is over, but Paul Ryan won his congressional seat back. So what do you think the future holds for him now that he's had a little taste of the big stage?
Right, well, certainly people think he's going to be thinking about at least a run for the presidency in 2016. And of course, we'll have an open race in 2016, so both sides are looking to their bench at this point. And there are candidates on each side. People are fully expecting that Paul Ryan will be in the mix. He obviously now knows what a national campaign is like, which is something that wasn't true a short time ago.
And Wisconsin boy remained right there because had the president been here one more time, he'd have to become a Green Bay Packers fan or take up permanent residency. And Ryan being from here too, this was really key for them to the Obama campaign to secure Wisconsin.
Absolutely true. And you know, I think the key to this election ultimately ends up being that perceptions of the economy improved enough over the first half of this year for the president to be reelected and for the Senate to continue in Democratic hands. If we were looking back, say late 2011, much more skeptical, pessimistic views about the economy back then, and it improved. Unfortunately for the Republicans, right during the Republican nominating process, people's perceptions of the economy got better, and we saw that in the results last night. People who they didn't think the economy was doing great, but they thought it was doing all right. The president did very well with those folks, and people were just as likely to say that President Obama would get the economy moving more quickly as they were to say Governor Romney. So that issue didn't quite cut the way for the Republicans that they hoped that it would. For
you, looking at the election, not just presidential and congressional seats and whatnot, were there any surprises for you?
You know, it's strange to say we've had so many momentous elections the last few years. This one pretty much went according to plan. This is sort of the result that we thought we would get. There weren't really any surprises with the states. The Senate losses that we saw around the country were the ones that you kind of thought, because people had made controversial statements, maybe there might be some losses in places that maybe a Republican shouldn't be losing in Indiana, but yet a controversial candidate. So there wasn't so much in that sense, I think. And you know, the polling has gotten so good at this point that I think we had a pretty good forecast of where things were headed.
How did that, when it was in Ohio, when it was said, I think 2 weeks ago, that Jeep was going to move jobs to China and would not be building Jeeps in Ohio? How did that hurt the Romney campaign? And they kept those ads up even when Chrysler and I think General Motors also came out and said, this is absolutely not true. And usually the car companies stay the heck out of this kind of politics.
Right.
How did that hurt Romney?
Well, I'm not sure if that particularly hurt him. I mean, a lot of these sort of day-to-day issues that come up, I think, are really affecting things very narrowly around the edges. The fundamental thing in Ohio is that the economy had gotten better, and it was hard to argue around that. People were perceiving that things were better, and the governor can take some credit there, but the president was also taking credit as well with the auto bailout, and that was the problem for Mitt Romney in Ohio. How do you, in a sense, galvanize people to believe the economy can even be doing better than it's doing if they think that it's moving more or less in the right direction? And that was really the problem he faced in most of the battleground states.
All right, another 4 more years. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. We'll see.
All right, Professor, thank you very much.
We'll
My pleasure. Thank you.
In 4 years.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Professor, thank you.